Hello, hello, and welcome to the joy of connection. I can't believe it. We're finally back. Yes, I have to exhale. I'll do it again. It's so good to be back. Thank you for joining me. You know, I took a break, and I took a break on many levels, not just from the show, but a little bit from life. You know, I just took 4 weeks off working and tried to refocus and think about what's next, what's important. And so welcome to season 3. Season 3 is going to be about international women from all around the world. But not just that, it's going to be some really interesting content, and we're going to dig a lot deeper than we have in the past. But I'm not going to talk too much about that at the moment, because I want to just check in with those who are here already. You know, how are we feeling? How's it been? For those of us in the UK, we are finally, well, I won't say we're finally out of lockdown. We're semi out of lockdown. You know, we're able to go out for a walk. We're able to drink beers in the cold if you want to do that. We're able to eat food outside in the cold if you want to do that. But we're able to meet up as friends and families. And I'm sure some of us are excited and some of us are really like struggling with that, right? So how are you feeling? Hey, thank you for the comments and the feedback. Thank you so much. I am feeling radiant. I am feeling glowing. I'm excited and a little bit nervous as well. Why, you may ask? Well, I am hosting the show solo, or in Spanish, we would say sola. I'm doing it on my own. And the reason being is I just wanted to touch base a little bit with my audience, really get a feel for who I am, not just as a relationship coach, but as Michelle, because I know some of you know me, many of you may know me, but there are others that, you know, joined the show after it started, after it went from inception to you know, becoming this, I would say it's a toddler now. Yeah, it's a toddler. It started as a newborn, and you know, it was just an idea. So let me tell you a little bit about that. But, you know, before I go on, again, how's everyone feeling? Let me know. Let me know how you've been feeling. Well, I'll start. So I've been really excited about what's to come, what the future looks like. And as I mentioned, with lockdown happening, I decided, you know what? I am always talking about self-love and self-care. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit the gym. So I've been in the gym, lifting, pumping weights. Take a look at that. Well, just take a look at the top part. Don't look at the bottom part. But yeah, I've been lifting weights again with my personal trainer. It's been great. I went for a massage yesterday. It was beautiful. And there's more to come. So what are you guys doing? Are you taking time out? Are you getting fresh air? Are you breathing in and breathing out? Are you doing that? Are you taking in what life is going to be like and breathing out what life was like? Tell me about it. Let me know. So going back to what I was saying, I wanted to talk a little bit about how the joy of connection came about. I mean, initially, it was just a calling for me to reach out to like-minded people. As you can see on my banner here, it was really about having people meet the first Thursday of every month to talk about mindset, physical, emotional well-being, my, body and spirit, all of that good stuff. But why? Why? Well, I lost my mum 3 years ago in March, and I had moved from New York to London to Leicester. And I was out of sorts when she passed. I didn't know what to do, where to be, how to feel. And I just thought, how am I going to connect? I mean, I knew a few people, but I didn't really know the city. I didn't know that many people. So I decided to create Joy of Connection. And it started as a physical event where people came and I had a guest speaker and we would just share our thoughts and feelings, kind of what we're doing here. But now I have a speaker. And so that was going really nicely, going along well. And then, as we know, the C word happened. And so as of, I say, February 2020, I decided to turn it into sort of an online group event. So we did that, but it kind of wasn't working. It was just hard work to get people on it, hard work to get people to listen, people to commit to speaking. And I think a lot of that was, this whole situation was new. We didn't really know what we were getting into. We didn't know what it was going to be like. And we didn't know, how we were going to feel being online. I mean, some people were like, this is crazy. I don't know how to be online. I don't know how to have a dialogue online. I feel like I'm talking to myself. And yet we knew we needed to connect. So along comes my business strategist. Yes, Eva. And Eva says to me one day, so Michelle, what do you think about doing a podcast? What are your thoughts? I said, yeah, sounds really good to me. Yeah, I'd love to do it. 2021, 2022, maybe-ish. And she said, well, didn't you do a course or a training? Yeah, I did. I thought you said it was amazing. It was fabulous. Okay, so why don't we just do it? Well, I'm not really prepared. I don't have any guests. I don't even know what I'm going to really talk about. And she was like, really? Well, guess what? We're doing it in 6 weeks. So let's get going. And that's how the Joy of Connection podcast was born. And of course, I wasn't so happy about it. I was like, oh, don't know if I really want to do this. It's not like I'm shy with the camera, but I don't know if I can do this. But it pushed me out of my comfort zone. It pushed me to stretch. It pushed me to really think about, this is taking it to the next level. This is not just coaching one-to-one with someone, which is what the vast of my experience has been, but it's also been about reaching out to other people and hearing their viewpoint. And in this case, because it's live simultaneously, right? So it's been amazing. And before I go forward, I just wanted to mention, I've gotten some feedback that some people are so excited about easing out of lockdown. Yeah, Gwen said it spells out freedom. I love that. She spelled that word out, freedom. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Just, woo, feeling free. I feel good, getting back to reality. And she wants a massage, a pedicure, hit the festival, hear live music and dance. And anybody who knows me knows I'm a dancer. I'm a salsa dancer. So I love that. And I miss that so much. But knowing the way we are about salsa dancing, we'll find a way. We'll figure out a way. So, one of the things I thought about was there's so many reasons why this podcast needed to be birthed. But one of the things that was really important to me before I even get to that point is what I've been going through for the last few weeks. And one of the things that I've had a burning issue with, a burning concern about, and took the time was to look at my values. I push my clients about that. I say to them, before we talk about all the things that you want, I always talk about that accordion file of the perfect person that they're looking for. They drop that file down and they want this and they want that. But I just thought, what are my values? What are important to me? What is it that I want for me going forward, for my relationship, for my partner? And I had to really think about my values, because, when you connect with your values, you have to remember what they are in this moment are really important, but they're changing, they're evolving, you're creating new ones as you go along. And the 3 or 4 things that really stood out to me was appreciation, honesty, relationship, and generosity. I think I may have said that already. Relationship. Let's start with that one. Relationships are everything to me. That's why the joy of connection became so important. I can't connect enough. I love people. I have relationships that are 40 years old, even though I'm only probably 41. But, I have relationships that have gone on for years and years and years and years. Why? Because I love people. I'm interested in people. I'm interested in the dialogue, in the richness of the conversation, in the agreements and the disagreements, in the clarity in the communication, in the finding the middle ground, in the times when you feel hurt and despondent, and yet you're able to say, yeah, I'm going to be bigger than this. I'm going to reach out and have that conversation. And even recently, I've had some great conversations while I haven't been working, while I've been taking this break, and it's been amazing. One of the things that I felt really strongly about is being generous. Not just being generous with your time and your money, that's great. And in terms of time, I've actually been donating my time a little bit and helping deliver foods to senior citizens. And that's been so gratifying. I need to make other ways to help others other than just talking about it and donating my time to a cause, but physically getting involved. And are any of you physically involved in giving back to your community, giving back in a way that you really feel makes a difference? Please share it with me. I think it'd be great to hear about it. It's been really gratifying to me. But generosity for me also is in terms of listening to dialogues, being really generous with listening to what you hear and really opening up and listening to what the other person has to say, and giving a response that's not necessarily what you think the person wants to hear, or just giving an answer, but really thinking about what the person is trying to convey to you, what they're asking you to hear that they're saying. I had a conversation with somebody really close to me very recently, and they asked me to just listen to something that they needed from me, something they needed me to do. And just by really taking the ego out of the situation and taking whatever I felt out of the situation and just really listening to what they were asking and what they were saying, I realized they need this, and it's valid what they're asking for. It's really important. It's really valid. And so that was a nice, not just awakening, but support of what I believe in, really supporting what I believe is really important and what I know to be true. So generosity has been really good. And, being honest with myself. What do I want? What do I need? And one of the important things that came out of that, what do I want, what I need, was my relationship with my partner. I love him so much and he loves me so much. And I have a love with him that I haven't had with any other. So it's been really important for me to think about, how do I move forward with this? He's away and he's coming back soon. I'm so excited. But, what can I do better when he comes back? How can I show him even more how much I appreciate him and how I understand that he appreciates me? Because when he's here, he shows me every day in many ways. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because, on the last show, I was a ball of tears, and I'm not trying to go there, not 15 minutes into the show. But I hope you're feeling what I'm saying. I hope you're feeling and understanding what I'm saying. It's so important, those relationships. And I'm sure for many of you during this lockdown time, you've realized how important the relationships are around you, the people that you haven't seen, the people that you wanted to spend more time with and haven't been? Have you thought about what that's going to feel like and taste like and look like when you see that person, whether it's your grandmother, the love of your life, a child that's been away at university, your best friend, your sibling, whatever, whoever. Have you been thinking about what that's going to feel like? Because I know I have, you know? So relationships and the relationship with myself. What things am I going to do for myself differently? What things am I going to give to myself? One of the things I'm going to give myself this time around is the gift of time, the gift of spending more time, not pampering myself necessarily, but reading, learning, thinking, being silent, really tapping in, really tapping in. So I'd love to hear if any of you are having any of those ideas or feelings or thoughts. Please bring them on, bring them on. So those are the values, and they're just so important to me. And as I mentioned, they're constantly changing and evolving. And part of the relationship part was also love. Love is just paramount for me right now. Sharing my love, giving my love, and receiving love. So those are so key. But I wanted to talk to you guys more about the show. The whole premise of it started about self-love and self-care. And it's a really important reference point, and it's becoming very in vogue, right? Everyone's talking about self-love and self-care, but what does that mean? And what does it mean for us? And when I say us, well, let me speak for myself. I am looking at life right now through the lens of a Black woman. And part of the premise of the show was, as we went along, as we got into season 2, I kind of thought about, what other shows are out there for women of color, but primarily Black women that are over 40, that are rediscovering themselves, that are learning more about themselves, that want to maybe reinvent themselves, renew themselves, really find who they are, where their place is in this world. Because as a woman of color, when you, or as a Black woman, as I said, let me speak for myself. Let me not speak for anybody else. But if you have something to say, please share it. Please do. But, when I watch TV, especially in the UK, okay, since Black Lives Matters, yeah, now I see a few more women that look like me, that may even be my skin shade, but not so much so. How many ads do I see for Black hair products, Black skin products? Because our hair is different, and it is really important to us, and it is really personal to us. It makes us feel good. What about the way we love each other? Are there any Black shows on British TV that shows how we spend time as women together in relationships or in general? Is there enough of that? And when there is a movie about a Black couple, it's considered a Black love story. It's never really just a story about Black women. And I'm not saying there aren't that many. I mean, if you've seen more, if you've seen lots of Black ads, please bring it on. Let me know. I haven't really seen that many. So I'm just sharing, again, my experience. And so I really wanted this platform to be an opportunity for Black women to shine their light, really, really get to talk about the things that we don't always talk about, or maybe we talk about it at the hairdressers or behind closed doors, or with our friends kind of whispering about it. But why not show the world who we are, right? How strong we are, how beautiful we are. But everybody else is invited too. It's not a closed show. It's not a private show. I want everyone to be involved, because, we're always feeling excluded. That's the story that we tend to deal with. And this is about me inviting everyone to be included and to hear our stories, not only our stories, because as you know, in prior seasons, I've had an Indian woman, I've had white women, I've had I've had every sort of mixture that you can. Well, not everybody, but, a good mixture. But I'm really wanting this to be a platform for other women to see how they are, and not just see us through the eyes that society projects, or what the media projects, or not just the Caucasian view of how we are or how we might be, but our view, more of it, much more, because we are a fabric of the society. We're not on the side. We're not a minority in the sense that there's 5% of us. I don't know what the numbers are. I know somebody in the audience can tell me, but I'm sure more than the population of Black people here are 5%. So I wanted to mention that. I want to give a window to who we are, how we love, and how we take care of each other. So important. I don't want anyone to make any assumptions. It's about learning and sharing and caring. So please, again, if you have anything to say, please share it. I would love to hear more about it. And so I wanted to talk a bit more about what we've done in the past. But before I go back, I wanted to look at some questions that we've had and some comments. So Aura said, strengthening relationships have been so comforting during this time. And that is so important, Aura. It really, really has been. It really has been. And I think you kind of really know who your friends are, right? And I'm not talking about Zooming people. I'm talking about people calling you, checking in, seeing how you are, asking you questions. How are you feeling? Are you sad? Are you afraid to be getting out of lockdown? Do you need anything? Can I help you? All those kind of questions. And Pam's talking about how she's just come back from the gym and she's lost a stone since November. Kudos to you. I'm loving it, girl. Give me some tips. I keep losing it and then I keep eating a little bit more and gaining it back. But today somebody told me my face looks really small. So I assume that means I've lost a bit more weight. So I'll go with that. And I know Monica said something. I missed that. I don't know if we're able to bring that back up. But Monica's online from Denmark. What was Monica saying? Can't see the question. Let's just see. I'll see if I can scroll up and see her question. No. Okay. Well, Monica, if you can ask me the question again, I would love that. And I'll be able to answer it. I'll be happy to answer it. So Pam says she's been giving herself a lot of self-love and drinking lots of water. Fabulous. Do you know what? I've been drinking water too. Look, here's my little glass. And here's my bigger glass with a little extra. So yeah, this is great. That's great. So I'm assuming not everybody saw season 2 or season 1. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it, review it a little bit, see what you liked. Yeah, can you guys tell me what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, what you would like to have seen more of, what you'd like to hear more about? Please let me know. So I'm going to tell you what I enjoyed. So one of the things in season 1 that was really interesting to me was when Gwen came on the show and talked about moving from discomfort to comfort, really coming out of that place where it's scary. We don't really want to ask the questions, or we don't really want to dig deeper, because, if you do dig deeper, that means you actually might have to do something about it. About, going through the steps, sitting in that pain, being still and moving forward slowly, gradually, and working through that pain, really feeling it and asking yourself really honest questions, maybe some tough questions that maybe you never really wanted to ask yourself, but now's the time. So I love that conversation with her. And if you missed that, I recommend that you go back to it and check it out. Um, when Kat came on, I don't know if you remember Kat, she's the fifth dimensional healer. And she spoke a lot about feeling sexy, being over 40 and feeling sexy. And she showed pictures of herself in risque positions and outfits and looking glamorous. And she's a grandmother, but nobody would know that. All they can see is what she exudes: sexiness, confidence, and feeling great about herself. Oh, I just love that show. If you can watch that, go back and check it out. You know, are you feeling sexy? What do you feel? What do you think? And last season, Mitra from Chicago. I don't know if you remember that. And I'm just picking out a few. They were all so good. So these are just the ones that came to mind that resonated with me this week. Actually, yeah, even today. You know, when Mitra talked about living through Katrina and using her intuition and deciding it was time to leave, she couldn't wait another day. She had to just get in the car and drive to Houston. I mean, that was so poignant because the day after, she wasn't able to leave. No one could leave the city. And so it's a great reminder of how it's so important to check in with your gut feelings. And, you know, if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And if something feels wrong, it probably is wrong, right? So that was so, so beautiful. It was such a great interview. I loved it. I really, really loved it. And oh, the last one of the season with Mark DeLissa, who runs Singology Choir. I mean, I was just so blown away by him. I mean, he kept saying he was a man of the people. And he really was. He had me crying. He had me in tears. He really made me feel something I hadn't felt in a while. And it wasn't just that. You know, I've been going through a journey of trying to connect with my mother in a way that I haven't connected since she passed. You know, I talk to her, I'm living in her house, I chat with her, I sing to her. But that feeling of connection I've been longing for, I've been really, really struggling with. And so when he talked about the dementia choir, and that's what she suffered with, it just brought back all those memories, all those feelings, all those struggles, all the hurt, all the agony, all the desire to make her well, but yet no, I wouldn't be able to do it. And but yet feeling honored that I was able to be on this journey with her, that she was allowing me to be in her space to share, you know, the ending of her life. And she was aware of it and I was aware of it, but nobody knew when that time would come. So it was just living with that moment and living with that idea that we knew it was coming soon or coming at some point, but nobody knew what that would be like. So those are just a few of the ones that if you missed them, you've missed some treats. I mean, there were so many great stories, really great stories. And so that will bring me to season 3. But before I go to season 3, I finally saw the message from Monica. And Monica wanted to know about love and light. She wanted to know what happens when you love and the light is not the same shade. Ooh, Monica, that's a good one. What happens when you love and the light is not the same shade? I mean, for me personally, I'll give love anyway. But for me, it's manage your expectations. You know, if you're going to love someone, you're going to love them because you want to love them, but you cannot expect the same in return. If they don't give it back to you, if that light is not as bright as yours, is it shady, if it's dimming, I mean, you have an option to walk away with it, walk away from it or leave it. But if it's dim, just keep shining your light. That's what I do. And if people are going to, if you need to let go of that person, then that's what you need to do. But I think that's really subjective. It's a great question. It's really subjective to who you are and how you feel about love. And I think you also have to remember that you can love people in different ways. You know, there are people in my life that I love, but I love at a distance. I do love them, but they don't have to need to be underneath me, underneath my breast. No, they don't have to be suckling. Absolutely not. They can be somebody that I love, but it doesn't have to be a constant interaction, because sometimes people are energy suckers. They take away from you. They take away your great vibration. They take away the love that you're feeling. They make you feel less than, especially if they don't see your vision. You know, if they don't see your vision or your mission, they can be Debbie Downers. Oh, I wouldn't be doing that. Who, me? Oh, not me. Oh, why would you do that? That's not good for you. No, you just love people the way you want to love them. And when you decide that they're not deserving of your love anymore, or you don't need that kind of love in your life, let it go. And you know what? As you raise your vibration, you'll be doing a lot of that. It's just the way it is. It doesn't have to be abrupt. Sometimes it's just gentle. Sometimes it just lets go all by itself. You know, it's like a bubble that just bursts and disintegrates. It's the same thing. It just disappears. So I hope I've answered your question. You know, this is how I see it, and this is how I would handle it. And thank you for asking that. I love that. And Aura mentions that she loved all the episodes to do with releasing stagnant energy. Oh, girl, and energy healing. And the lady with the pendulum, yeah, that was Michelle James with the emotion code. Oh, that was a really exciting one. Yes. You know, really looking at our emotions. And that's what this is all about. Really looking at things closer than we typically do. You know, just we might have that conversation, but you know, I want this to be a platform for you to ask what you would like to see. Ask for me to bring more people on. Ask about conversations you'd like to have. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's be the vision that we want to be, right? Let's do it. And so speaking about that energy healing and releasing that energy and taking that energy and sexually transmuting it, like Napoleon Hill says, you know, you can take that sexual energy and create something stronger and bigger and create a vision that you never even dreamt of. Dream big. That's what I tell everyone. Dream big. Don't dream small. Why dream small when you can dream big? Go for it. What have you got to lose? Why be fearful? You know, a lot of people struggle with fear because they feel that fear means I'll make a mistake. And if I make a mistake, I failed. But in whose eyes? Did somebody tell you you're a failure? And if that's what you've been told in the past, then you're holding on to old, limited beliefs. But if you think about some of the greatest inventors, they failed things 6, 10, 20, 50, 100 times until they got it right. So you have the license to do the same. Why not? Why can't you do the same? I encourage you. Let me know if you try it. So as I said, it brings me to season 5, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I'm bringing together a collection of women from around the world. Already I have somebody from France, from Australia, from Croatia, from America and the UK, and from the Oman. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be delicious. I'm going to talk to women that are Latinas, mixed race, white, black, real melting pot. It's going to be delicious. And we're going to really look at some deeper subjects, or look at some subjects even deeper. I'm really going to look at what it's like to have a long distance relationship. You know, I've been experiencing that for the first time myself. Well, in a different way, being away from my partner and being apart for a long time. What does that feel like? Some days it feels empty. Sometimes I feel sad. And sometimes I feel joyful for the pictures, the conversations we have, the times when we're apart, when I have to sit and think about, gosh, I remember when we did this and how delicious that felt. Or I remember when he did this for me and how beautiful that made me feel. And the way he looks at me and the way he touches my heart. I have to hold on to those things because when he's in Cuba, the communication is almost zero. So it's a really close one for me. And we're going to be talking about sex. Yes. S-E-X. Yes. Woo! We're going to talk about how it feels, how we're going to do it, how we might want to do it, how do we think about doing it with a few people, how we feel about doing it with maybe a whip or something. Oh, let me not tell you too much now. I want you to tune in, so let me not tell you too much. But we're going to have a conversation about sex, baby, and the divine feminine. Yeah, I know a few of you have been asking me about that. So we're going to explore that a little bit more. And some spirituality. What does that mean to you? What does spirituality really mean to you? Is it just a word? Is it something you don't believe in? Are you agnostic? Are you atheist? Let's have a conversation about that. And again, looking more at relationships, being a single parent. Maybe some of the other side to it, not having children, and maybe having an abortion or a miscarriage. You know, what does that conjure up? What are the memories? What is the sadness? How do people treat you? You know, I don't have children. And I remember when I first got married to my ex-husband, people would say, first thing they say, oh, you got married, when are you going to have kids? Not knowing that I wasn't able to have children. And so my ex-husband would get really angry and be really furious. And I say to him, look, just, you know what? When people ask you that, just say, oh, we're practicing. We're working on it. And when we get it right, you'll be the first to know. You'll see it. And then they would instantly be like, oh, shouldn't have asked that. But people ask, usually from a place of love, you know, or they're not really sure what to say. Is that wrong? Is that bad? So those are some of the things that are coming up. I'm really excited to share my journey with you. I'm so happy to have you along on my journey. And it's been great. And I'm so looking forward to having you continue this journey with me. And I've got one more comment I want to share before I sign off. And Shell says she absolutely is enjoying the honesty that I've been able to get from the guests. And she's also learned to listen to herself, but more importantly, hearing what I am listening to. And I think that's a big one. You know, the art of listening. It is so underrated. I can't even tell you. It's often the case where people listen to what someone's saying, but they haven't really listened. They're just waiting to give their answer. That let her stop breathing so I can say my piece, right? And instead thinking about, wow, this person is bearing their soul. This person is being vulnerable. They're sharing something that is maybe really uncomfortable with them, and I'm being honored to hear it. So you owe it. We owe it to that other person to really listen, not to jump ahead, give them the answer. Maybe they don't even want an answer. They just need to get it out, hear it out loud. So important. One of the things that I've enjoyed doing, well, two things I've enjoyed doing recently, and in the words of my fabulous producer, Ade, he always says, meditation is listening and prayer is speaking. And they're both ways of communicating or talking. They're both ways of communicating with God, whether that's the God within you or the God that you see up there or whatever you believe in, the universe. So I have had an amazing time tonight. bearing my soul a little bit, trying not to cry a lot, and happy that I was able to let you know a bit more about the reason I decided to create the Joy of Connection, my baby. And I thank you so much for your love and support. So, as I always say, thank you for being here tonight. I can't wait to see you next week on episode 2. And please, for the remainder of the week, be connected, be joyful, and shine your light. Thank you for being with me tonight. Thank you.